Hello folks, Alex here. This is Alex Unabridged. Alex Unabridged on tour. Welcome back to the channel. Come on Mavs, go ahead. I am out with the dog this morning in the wonderful parts of the Abernethy Forest, which is North Cairngorms in Scotland. And we're here for 2 weeks and it's going to be glorious. And I'm going to relax and I'm going to hike and I'm going to read. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a reading vlog, basically. So yes, but this morning it's my turn to walk Marvin. So we've come to the gorgeous woods that we've got just behind the cottage where we're staying. Hey Marv! I was like, I want my breakfast. So yes, but I've not really, it's now Monday and we came up on Friday and I've not really done any vlogging yet, mainly because I've just been chilling out. It took us 9 hours, thereabouts, to get up here from where we are in near Manchester. And then yes, Saturday we just had a nice chill day. We came and found this little walk that we can do with Marv right next to the cottage, which is amazing, and then just chilled out. And I woke up to red squirrels and birds on the bird feeder in the cottage garden, which is amazing because I think at 42 I am now and I've never actually seen like a red squirrel, which is ridiculous really. So yes, I've just been glued to the bird feeders and the bird table, and then yesterday we just did more chilling, more relaxing, and had an absolutely amazing walk just up the road from us near Boat of Garton at Loch Garton. So yes, it's the weather has been pretty amazing. Come on Marv, come on. He's trying to navigate some mud. He doesn't like mud. That's it, keep going. So yes, and then yesterday I did start some reading. Let's talk about books, right? Seeing as this is a booktube channel. So I started with a little bit of a short story from Ramsey Campbell in Demons in Daylight. That's what I started with last night, and I only read one short story in that, which wasn't too bad. So I'm going to continue with those today, but I'm also going to jump about a bit. I've generally bought lots of really short stories or books of short stories with me, so I can jump about from author to author a bit, because my attention span's sometimes not as great in the daytime for reading. I tend to read at night. So yeah, I'm going to try that, and then later on I think I'm going to crack on with one of my audiobooks, because The Ferryman by Justin Cronin came out last week and I've not had a chance to start it yet. So I will attempt to get that one started this evening and properly get into it, because I think it's about 20 hours long on the audiobook. So yes, I will report back in later with reading updates and no doubt other kind of, general holiday updates. So yes, home for breakfast now. I'm starving, and I think Marv is as well, because he's just started to act up a little bit. So nearly back, and then yeah, breakfast time. What are you doing? Okay, I am breakfasted and coffeed and ready for some reading, to excuse Marvin tip-tapping around on the hard floors. So yes, I'm just deciding what book to read, or what books to read today. I'll try and get through a couple of short ones, I think. So I'm going to go, I think, first for a bit of Angela Carter. I haven't started this yet, and it's winking at me, so I think I will start with that. So I will check back in when I'm further into it. Okay, I'm about halfway through The Bloody Chamber. Read about 2 and a bit stories. Not bad so far. First one, The Bloody Chamber, the title story. Quite hard work, I think, mainly because of the amount of references to artwork and art and literature and things that I don't really know much about, so I was having to look up quite a lot of stuff, so it kind of spoilt the flow a little bit of it, but still very enjoyable, very good, impressive writing. And the other two that I've read, they've been easier to read, and also very impressive writing, so I am enjoying it most definitely so far. But I'm taking a break now while the sun is out to take the dog for a little walk, and for us for a little walk. So I shall return to the Bloody Chamber later on today, I should think. There we go, folks. Been out for a lovely walk with the dog and the missus, and she's just cooked us a fantastic meal of chicken fajitas. So I'm full and tired. She's now installed in the living room watching Succession, so I thought I would come through to the bedroom, stretch out and read some more of Angela Carter. So I'm going to see if I can get a bit further in this tonight, possibly even finish it. We'll see how my eyes do, because I'm quite tired. So yes, let's see how I get on with some more dark fairy tales. Morning, folks. It's Wednesday of the first week of my holes. My turn to take the dog for his little poddle through the woods this morning, but it's just a short one this morning, because we're going to go and head round to Fleshy Glen, I think it's called. So get into the mountains a bit. We had a nice drive through the mountains yesterday. I say nice, a little bit bum twitchy at times. So yes, nice little drive over the mountains. So I've done the scenic route over to a big old estate that had been owned by the Farquharsons for 500 years, and had a nice walk around there and some cracking mountain views there as well. Yeah, nice little day out, but quite tired when I got back, and so I didn't film anything else yesterday. But I did read some more of the Angela Carter. In fact, I finished it, so I will talk about that a bit more at length later on, when I have time to sit down and tell you a little bit more about what I liked about it, and anything that I might not have liked about it. So I shall do that later. But it's going to be a cracking day, I think, today. Maybe a bit of rain later on, but for the moment it's beautiful sunshine. The woods look lovely. Marvin is ahead of me. Come here, Marv. Marvin is there waiting for his breakfast, stomping his way home for breakfast. So I shall head back to the cottage and speak to you later. Dubs. Come on in. Good evening, folks. It's Wednesday evening. It's 9 o'clock. I wanted to have a quick chat about this because I finished it last night, quite late last night. I was only going to read a couple of the stories from this for Horror Mayhem, and I ended up liking it so much that I just decided that I was just going to read all of the stories. So I just thought I'd have a quick chat about this and what I liked about it and stuff. It is as good as everybody has, had been telling me that it is. The first story, The Bloody Chamber, the title story, I think I said in a previous little vlog thing, it was quite hard going because there was a lot of references to kind of cultural things that I didn't know, art, stuff like that, and there's a lot of vocabulary in there that I had to look up. So I found it quite hard going, but now it's kind of settled in my mind. Now it's kind of settled in my brain a bit. I really like it. Really liked the first story. And then you've got a couple of sort of Beauty and the Beast type stories. So The Courtship of Mr. Lion and Tiger's Bride. Yeah, both of those were good. I think I preferred The Tiger's Bride. Yeah, it just felt, you know, kind of darker and therefore more my cup of tea. Then we get to, I think, probably my favourite, which isn't even a horror story, you know, or a ghost story or a dark fairy tale or anything like that. It's the Puss in Boots one, which I think is just absolutely brilliant. And I ended up having to read it out loud. You know, I sat in the bedroom and read it, and I read it out loud because it's a monologue. You know, it's Puss telling the story. And it's a monologue, and to me it needed to be read out, and for me it's just kind of it screamed like I need to see this visually as well, this storytelling going on, whether it's like in my head it's like it's an animation, maybe like some sort of stop motion puppet based animation. Yeah, I loved that. It's so funny. It's an out and out comedy, and it's like, I think I liked it so much because it's quite clearly influenced by things like Commedia dell'arte, the Italian art form, theatre form, performance. It's very kind of, you know, it uses stock characters from Commedia, essentially, and it's got that kind of real bawdy sense of humour about it. Yeah, I thought that one was brilliant. I'm going to have to go back and read that again. What else we got? The Werewolf. The short, really short, like 2-3 pages long, like really good, really liked. And the other werewolf stories, or the wolf stories, The Company of Wolves, and Wolf Alice. I really liked Wolf Alice, the final story in here. The vampire one, The Lady of the House of Love. I think I need to read it again. I think that's probably one of my least favourite ones. But yeah, I think I probably need to just read it again. See if I can kind of get more out of it. But that one didn't, it wasn't bad by any means. None of these are bad. They're all amazingly written. But it just wasn't one of my favourites. The Snow Child, again, that's like 2 pages. That's quite a dark little story. I really liked that. But I think the one that, like, the darker one that I liked the best is The Earl King. Which I'm not sure what that's based on. I haven't read the foreword because I started reading the foreword by Helen Simpson, the introduction, and it was giving stuff away in terms of the influences and some of the plot of the stories, what Angela Carter did with these. So I stopped reading and went straight to the stories. I didn't want to spoil my own enjoyment of them, so I will go back to that at some point and you know, when I reread the stories, I'll reread the introduction first and then read the stories again and just kind of start to look at the influences and things like that. But to start with, I wanted to just read them and just experience them completely fresh. So yeah, but The Earl King, I don't know what that's, I don't know the original kind of inspiration for it, but the writing, the descriptions of the woods, now maybe it's because I'm like spending a lot of time in the woods at the moment, because a lot of this area that I'm in the Cairngorms, the northern Cairngorms, it's masses and masses of like huge forests, like ancient sort of Caledonian forests. And so maybe it's that captured me, but I do love the woods, and I do love kind of that kind of gothic and sort of ghostly sort of story that involves woodland, things like that. And like when it comes to like folk horror, I like stuff to do with the woods the most. It kind of, because I love the woods, but they can be really creepy. In fact, the best woods are a bit creepy for me. But yeah, some of the writing in this is just the description, how it perfectly captures some of those deep woods. And certainly at the time of year that this is set, which is kind of an autumn wood, you know, described as, there is not much in the autumn wood that makes you smile, but there is not quite yet, the saddest time of the year. You know, it's kind of the autumnal woods turning towards the winter woods when they get darker and seemingly deeper. I love that. And the whole of this story has got such a rich kind of visual element to it for me. I could perfectly picture things and picture the characters, etc. And it's not a long one. It's only like 8 pages, you know. But that's the thing with this, is what Carter is able to do in such a short space of time on the page is incredible. Yeah, it's like it's inspiring. It's like it's a lot to learn. There's a, you know, it kind of makes me kind of want to definitely read more of her stuff, because I think that is the sort of stuff that I could really learn from as somebody who's trying to write. I'm not trying to write this sort of stuff, that she's way beyond what I'm trying to write, but just in terms of how you pack so much in to a short story. So yes, so very, very good, very good. I can see why so many people rave about it on BookTube and off BookTube as well. You know, I've seen plenty of things over the years about this, and yeah, brilliant. Absolutely loved it. We'll definitely reread a lot of these again. Just because they're brilliant, and also, as I say, because I think I can learn a lot in terms of just things like structure and language and all that kind of stuff. The vocabulary in here is you know, challenging for me in parts. You know, there's plenty of stuff I had to look up. And so it's rich, and it's as I say, it's inspiring. So yes, The Bloody Chamber. So yes, so I will leave it there for this evening, and I will report back in tomorrow, when I've probably read some other stuff. I think I'm going to try maybe read a couple of comics tonight, because my eyes are quite tired, or possibly even Ness. By Robert Macfarlane and Stanley Donwood, which is a very short piece. So I might try and get through those tonight. But for now, I'm going to go and eat cheesecake, because I spotted half-price cheesecake in a farm shop and I could not resist. So I'm going to go and fill my face with cheesecake for the rest of the evening, and then read a little, but also probably just fall asleep. So yes, so I will check back in with you tomorrow. So bye for now. Good morning, folks. It is Thursday. So we're going to head up to the coast today. We're going to get out of the national park and head up to the coast by the Moray Firth, and find a beach for Marv to play on, because Marv loves a beach to play on. So yes, last night I only got one issue of one comic read. I was just too tired to do much else, so I read another issue of Night of the Ghoul, which continues to be very good, very intriguing. So yes, so I will show you a bit of what we see today up at the coast. It'll be very different from what we've seen so far, and then I'll get some more reading done later, and some prep for videos as well. I need to start editing all of this stuff, or it's going to take me forever. So yes, I will report back in later. Just got to Lossiemouth and gonna hit the beach. Nairn because apparently there's a bookshop. Good evening. Yes, back home, it's night time. I've had tea and everything, had a lovely day out, and yes, I found a bookshop and I had to buy something, didn't I? So I got this, which was a nice little find, Edgar Allan Poe Gothic Tales, and yes, it's just a short, very, very little one, with just a couple of Poe tales in it. I've got Metzengerstein, The Mask of the Red Death, and The Telltale Heart, which is the one I kind of really bought this for. I've not read much Poe at all, so yes, so a nice little one. So I might end up reading this for Horror Mayhem, seeing as it's a very short little piece. A very lovely little bookshop that I got it from as well. Very nice chatty lady and a lovely dog, and I always appreciate a bookshop dog there to welcome you. So yes, so that was my purchase for today. So yes, I'm going to go and read, probably not this now, probably going to go and read Ness tonight. I wanted to start that last night and I was too tired, so I'm going to try and get through that tonight. And then tomorrow I've got a big day. I'm going on a bit of a solo mission tomorrow. I'm going to have a proper good big walk just by myself. So yes, so for tonight I will say sleep well and I will see you tomorrow. Morning folks, it's Friday, of the first week of my hauls, and today I'm on a little solo mission to do a bit of the Speyside way. So I'm going to walk from Aviemore back to the cottage, which is about 13 miles. I'm about a mile and a half in. Just got outside of Aviemore, and it's pretty. So I will check back in throughout the day, like when I stop for lunch and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about what I've been reading. About halfway done at this point, so I've just stopped for a little snack because I'm motoring. I've only been going for a couple of hours, and I'm about 6.5 miles done, which is good. A nice little break. Nice little rest, spot of lunch by the side of the loch. Beautifully peaceful. There's been somebody swimming in the loch, dogs playing in the loch, and just peaceful. So yes, so I've taken a little detour to get down here, just to sit and have some lunch and some peace and quiet. But yes, what did I read last night? I read Ness by Robert Macfarlane and Stanley Donwood, and I will talk about it a bit more later when I get home and I've got the book in front of me, but wow, really, really beautifully written book, and some amazing like little illustrations and stuff like that. Absolutely loved it. So I will come back to that later on when I'm home and give you a little bit more information on it. Hello folks, I am showered and fed and watered, and so I thought I would take the opportunity to talk a little bit about this. Ness by Robert Macfarlane and Stanley Donwood. Stanley Donwood has done the drawings in it. This is fantastic. I love Robert Macfarlane anyway, but this is very different to a lot of the stuff that I've read of his before. This is, it's fiction, and it's kind of new sort of folklore and myth and sort of partly poetry or poetic prose. It's beautifully written, and the illustrations in it are gorgeous as well. The front cover is Stanley Donwood. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this. If you like kind of dark folklore and that kind of mysterious sort of landscape-based sort of folklore, and sort of mystery plays as well. There's kind of mystery play influences in this as well. It's absolutely beautiful piece of work. So yeah, it's basically kind of about what would happen if land comes to life, and what would it take for land to need to come to life in terms of needing to defend itself against human activity, human destructive activity. And so we meet kind of 5 land forms or life forms that are kind of representative of different elements of the land in this, and they are called it, he, she, they, and as, and they all represent different things. And the writing of those is, it's gorgeous. It's kind of, it makes me somewhat jealous, should we say, in terms of how Macfarlane imagines these things so vividly. And it is just the language that he uses is gorgeous. It reads so beautifully. And then you've also got sections kind of chopped up into chapters, called the Green Chapel, which is about the human characters, the 5 human characters that have gathered together, kind of as a congregation, really. Almost there's a kind of a religious kind of quality to their meeting, and they are meeting to arm and set off several bombs, nuclear bombs, and they're just referred to as like the armourer and the engineer, the ornithologist, the botanist, things like that. So they are largely scientists. But yeah, it's a strange little piece. It's dark, it's nicely dark, but it is just absolutely stunning, I think, in its imagery. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend this. The structure of it is really interesting. It's split up into small bits. You've got, bits about the landforms individually, and then you've got these chapters about what's happening with the humans as the landforms approach. And you've got all of the little illustrations in kind of that kind of sort of marked points between chapters and sort of in the story. Things like that, which is like that's the Green Chapel, which kind of feels like almost like an industrial building or a silo type thing. It's it's quite an interesting description of the building as well. So you've got all of the illustrations that kind of add to stuff, and they do really kind of capture the tone of the piece, the tone of the darkness of the piece. And they don't ever depict the characters, either the landforms or the people, the actual humans. It's about the place, and I think that's what's nice about it. It gives you a sense of place, because you don't need descriptions. You don't need drawings rather of the characters, if you like, in it, because the descriptions of them are perfect. Certainly the landforms, they're absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I'm quite jealous of what Macfarlane's written. I would love to be able to write like this. I don't know whether I will. I don't know whether that's my voice really, but I do have a huge amount of love for this kind of thing. And yeah, I like the way it's even set out. It's a nice It's a nice book to look at as well, just in terms of its, you know, its layout, things like that. From a design perspective, it's a nice little piece to look at. So yes, anyway, I've babbled enough about that, but yeah, give this a go if you like kind of modern folk stuff and sort of dark mythologies, things like that. It's a really lovely piece of work, and I will. This is my mum's copy, so I've got to give it back. So I'm going to be buying my own copy quite soon, because I'm going to want to read this over and over and over again, because this is very inspiring, this one. So yes, so that is Ness. And I think that is where I will leave this vlog off, this part 1. This will be, I've got another week left on holiday. So there will be part 2, which will come out next weekend. And I have another little tag video coming probably on Friday, something like that. So I'm going to go and record that in a minute. But yes, I need to step up my pace a little with the reading, because I've not got through anywhere near as much as I wanted to this week. I've read Ness, I've read The Bloody Chamber, I have read a couple of comics, and I've read, I think, probably half of, probably just under half of the Ramsey Campbell. I have started The Ferryman by Justin Cronin, but I haven't got that far with it. It's very good so far, mysterious, but I haven't got very far with it because I haven't really had time to properly sit down and get into it. So I've kind of been reading short stuff because, you know, with me having the dog and my wife around and doing things and stuff, I've been kind of catching bits and pieces of reading, you know, time as and when I can get it. So hopefully over the weekend and a couple of days next week, we might have a couple of more chill out days. And so I'll be able to just kind of sit in the cottage and have kind of a good hour or so, you know, a chunk to kind of, you know, actually get into that. So that is, I think, it from me for now. I am going to go and edit this vlog together and do some more filming and do some flipping reading. So yes, I hope you'll join me again next week for part 2 of my Scotland holiday reading vlog thing. But thank you very much for watching. Please do consider giving this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and maybe subscribing for more content coming very soon. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.